Which branches of the military have football fields?
Other academies, so the other academies have started to let even though you can that's also how the Air Force all of a sudden that's what covering.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. We have a couple of announcements this morning. Students, don't forget, all our students are doing the meeting here by Friday. Also, we're doing the biology EOCT this morning. The Valcourt representatives will be here from 8:30 to 9:30 this morning. The teachers, if you have someone that needs to see the Valcourt representative, 10 and 8:30, preferably one or two at a time. Everyone have a great day.
Yeah, Jake's not here. It wasn't like anything.
All right. Okay. So I'll say it now for everybody. We're all here. Packets, turn it. You got paper clips at your seats. So packet 1, 2, 3, and 4. Paper clip it together. Packet 5, 6, 7, and 8. Paper clip it together. And then really help me out if you put your two packets together and throw it right here. That way I don't find your 1 through 4 and wonder where your 5 through 8 is. Put it right together. Make it easy for me. Easy for me is a cleaner grade for you. So is anyone else still working on turning? Ladies that just got here. My Lexington best shots. Right on time, their time. All right, so I'm definitely not going to add to your brain today.
Morning, Later Nation. We are super excited that today our biology students get to show what they know. We'll be kicking off biology testing momentarily, and that will be going on first and second block today. So it'll be similar to our schedule yesterday. We may be off slightly, so we will keep you posted through Mr. Johnson sending the emails. In addition, congratulations to our Raider Regiment, a wonderful concert last night, a packed house. Woo! Lots and lots of support. And lots of great examples of talent within our school, and we're very proud of you. It was very nice to watch the progression of going to 6th grade through our high school group and the amount of learning that is going on, and we are excited that we're getting to showcase those talents. So congratulations to our regiment. Have a wonderful Raider Day.
Dolly Madison, how was it? I saw the pictures on Facebook. I love to come to things that just wasn't one I was able to get to last night. Proud of y'all. And it did look like a packed house. I appreciate that the community came out and gave you an audience. Pretty cool. So good job. I know your extracurriculars are always more than just classroom. You are more than just classroom. And I hope you know I've always tried to recognize that. So again, I got, what is it, 2 of you still working on paper clipping? All right. So today, welcome to December 7th. We say always remember, never forget. I hope that we will remember that it's Pearl Harbor. It is a federal recognized day, Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day, but more than what the feds say about it, of course, we can know it's day in history. And FDR's famous infamy speech, right, a date which will live in infamy. You may remember, this is not what we're going to do today, you may remember last year y'all made the speech, right? Y'all spliced together FDR statements and made the whole infamy speech. And I do have that video pulled up. So let's go to the tape and remember Pearl Harbor on this day.
I remember I fell on that day. I fell on your flag.
Again, this is not the whole thing. This is not what we're doing today. But what kind of a history class would we be if we didn't remember Pearl Harbor today?
Good morning, Baker County.
Go ahead and laugh at yourselves, too.
December 7th, 2021, and of course, that is a date which shall live in infamy. December 7th, 1941, 80 years ago today.
Who's ready to
The
cringe?
anniversary of the bombing
Landon
of
probably is.
Pearl Harbor, the island of Oahu in Hawaii, and the beginning of war, what would become known as World War II. And it's pretty easy to remember this anniversary in a history class today. So my world history honors class has recreated President Roosevelt's famous date which will live in infamy speech. We talked about Pearl Harbor, and we have remembered Pearl Harbor on this day, Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day, December 7th. And won't you remember Pearl Harbor with us? Thanks for tuning in, and here they are. Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker, members of the Senate and the House of Representatives. Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date that will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
The United States was at peace with that nation and, as a solicitation of Japan, was still in conversation with its government and its emperor, looking toward the
Grace
making
is like, oh, no.
of the Pacific.
Indeed, 1 hour after Japanese air squadrons had commenced bombing in the American island of Oahu, the Japanese ambassador to the United States and his colleague delivered to our Secretary of State a formal reply to a recent American message.
While this reply stated that it seemed useless to continue the existing diplomatic negotiations, it contained no threat or hint of war or armed attack. It will be recorded that the distance of Hawaii from Japan makes it obvious that the attack was deliberately planned many days ago.
During this intervening time, the Japanese have deliberately fought the United States through
Ray had it
false
memorized.
statements and expressions of continued peace. The attack yesterday on the Hawaiian Islands has caused severe damage to the American naval and military forces.
I regret to tell you that very few
American ships had been reported torpedo on high seas between San Francisco and Honolulu. Yesterday, the Japanese government also launched an attack against.
It's like a hits list.
Last night, Japanese forces attacked the Philippine Islands.
Last night, the Japanese attacked White Island.
And this morning, the Japanese attacked Midway Island. Japan has therefore undertaken a surprise offensive extending throughout the Pacific area.
The facts of yesterday and today speak for
The people of the United States have already formed their opinions and well understand the implications to the very life and safety of our nation.
as Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy under the United States flag.
But always, I want to make sure you know that I fight against it. But I want to make sure
I believe that I interpret the will of the Congress and of the people when I say that we will not only put ourselves to the others, but will make it very certain that this form of country shall never again endanger us. Hostilities exist. There is no winking in the fact that our people, our territories, and our interests are in great hands.
With confidence in our armed forces, with the unbounded determination of our people, we will gain the inevitable triumph. So help us God. I ask the Congress to declare that since the unprovoked and dastardly attack by Japan on Sunday, December 7th, 1941, a state of war has existed between the United States and the Japanese Empire.
Well, that was fun to look back on. That's kind of like an intermittent time capsule, right? I mean, we look back 1 year ago and
That was a year ago?
a year ago, yeah, hair and beards and voices and all that has grown and changed. So anyway, you know,
Joey's here. Joey's
Yeah.
hair was right.
you know I love Pearl Harbor. You know, it's a topic I like to go all in on. Obviously, we've already had the conversation of the year. And quite frankly, you tested out of U.S. history yesterday, one way or another. I don't think anyone in this class shall be returning. So about yesterday. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Now, up front, I do not want to hear anything about the test. I do not want you to tell me this question or that question was on there. I will do a class closeout, and you can tell me later if you feel like you're unprepared for anything, but genuinely, I'm saying this for real. I don't want to know test questions. I don't want you to tell me the test question because that's its own violation of standards and whatnot. But we talk generics, and first thing is, I just want to preach this. I want you to know there's nothing that you could have ever done to make me love you more. Ace the test, 100, all fours. Ain't nothing you could do to make me love you more, and there's also nothing you could have possibly done to make me love you less. I've invested in you. You've invested in me. We have a special first block here, fall 2022. Shall never forget this particular first block. So that's just the most important thing for you to understand up front, right? You came, you did the test. You probably have some questions about results and all that, but more than anything else, I want you to know you're more than a test score. You're more than a GPA. You're more than a diploma. You're wonderful human beings, and it's been my privilege to bring you the story of us, U.S. history, this semester, and I've grown right alongside you. So kind of use this couple of minutes here, and I'm waiting for something, looking at the door. Use these couple of minutes, ask me any questions you have about, or just, vent, talk, whatever. Ray, you want to go ahead and repeat your first question for the benefit of the group?
When we're gonna get our scores back.
Great question. I'm sure that kept you up till midnight, or if not later, right? When are we going to get our scores back? So first things first, it's great that it's electronic, and of course that means they can turn around faster. We didn't have to send in any scantrons. Nobody has to actually go through the process of putting pencil lead, right? I mean, it's digital. So the results, in my experience, my limited experience, have always been that it does come in before the break, whether that's Christmas or summer. The results should be in. Greetings. Good morning. Good morning. The results will come in before the break, and of course that's important in terms of actually putting it into campus and you actually getting understanding your results and your semester grade as well. So to answer your question, my best long guess is 7 to 10 days. There's a website that I'm going to be refreshing daily, and she's going to refresh twice daily. And as soon as I know them, you'll know them. Okay. Bottom line is, I'll make a Google Classroom post. Results have been posted or grades have been input. I'm not going to talk any specifics. I'm not going to talk any specifics, digitally. But if you want to come and talk about your grade, certainly we're here for that. So burning question, when do we get results?
Oh, yeah.
And that's the answer to that. So we can wrap up EOC conversation in a little bit, and we'll talk what is the U.S. history final. I do know most absences and grades probably don't need a final in this classroom, but we'll talk about that later. Told you I was waiting for the door to open. So Miss Williams, greetings.
Yes, hello.
And welcome. I just patted them on back and wiped my tears a little bit here. It's been my privilege to teach this group and a special group in fall 2022, first block. They'll be their own unique group for forever. And as I grow as a teacher, something I want to do is close out a class with some celebration. So I have created the first ever U.S. History Honors Day. And in these next few minutes, I'm going to recognize each of you in different ways. And I wanted Ms. Williams here to witness that. So thank you for coming and being a part of that. So first of all, let's reminisce. Now, these are just some randos kind of pulled off my phone. We've done way more than these couple of pictures here, but open pep rally, right? This class got motivated. We were all red for sure. So that was fun. Acknowledge the extracurriculars in the room, right? We got cheerleaders, we got band, we got athletes, and we know that they're more than a test grade. So we had a great time with the pep rally. We had a great time finding Louisiana and doing a little skit about that. And Ray made a most wonderful Napoleon. This is not your class, but we did this, of course, right? We walked on the Trail of Tears, and maybe you understood what was happening. Maybe you didn't until I made it plain a little bit later, but hopefully a formative experience, something you'll never forget. We did 3D, a couple of times, more than once, right? Civil War in 3D, and was the Transcontinental Railroad in 3D as well. We had our visitor, our famous visitor, John Wilkes, infamous really, John Wilkes Booth. And how many of you knew that he was going out the window? When he jumped off the stage, you knew he had to leave the room somehow. Hope you'll never forget that one. We assassinated the Archduke, Franz Ferdinand himself. Lots of shooting in this class. But Jackie made a wonderful Sophia. Had fun with that. We assembly lined some paper airplanes and Henry Ford mass production assembly line. I hope that paid off for you. And then, truly, this class has pioneered the vocabulary football league. We started VFL And I told you, I was candid with them several times. They were my guinea pigs. Fatima, what did I screw up on a regular basis?
Oh, the word bank.
The word bank, but I got better for it, right? So you guys, again, for real, like think back to Super Bowl I, right? The NFL holds in folklore Super Bowl I. Well, you guys are part of the first ever BFL season. Based on your success, I can say I will do it in class again, right? With honors classes and others. So you were part of you pioneered the Vocabulary Football League. And, of course, it was more than just vocab. We did paper football, and that is Eric thumping me in the face. I think it was twice in a row. I don't know why I just stayed there. And VFL, all right, Vocabulary Football League. So want to acknowledge our Super Bowl teams. First of all, give it up for the Salem Witches. Runners up in the league. And then, of course, the champions. I gotta say, I love that a Georgia team, a group of Georgia kids named their team the Sherman's Marchers. So give it up for the Sherman's Marchers. And I did tell you, and I wanted to keep everyone in the game, right? Welcome to the challenge of being a teacher. You can play a game, and you still want those eliminated from the game to participate. So I did tell you that even in the Super Bowl, on the Super Bowl quiz, which all of you took, I was going to award the highest score winner, okay, whether that was from a Super Bowl team or not. I was going to award the highest score winner, and and that person is with a legitimate perfect score, to include 46 presidents chronologically in order, Mr. Jackson Johnson. Wow. Jackson, come on up. Come on up. Delaney, here's a snap picture real quick. Now, we're going to snap pictures on each of these, and that will include each of you. So, first man up, Mr. Jackson. Get that hair just right. Jackson Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. All right, and I will go back one. I already messed my own order up. Go back one, and I want to award for participation and victory in the first ever Super Bowl I, U.S. History Vocabulary League champions, Sherman's Marchers, Super Bowl I champions, Sherman Marchers. Come on up. Come on up. All y'all gonna be active today. Sherman's Marchers, come on up. Jackson for you, Bryce for you, Miss Delaney for you, and if you three will get into the middle there, send yourselves up, geometry and stuff. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yes, they did well. It was a close Super Bowl. The Sherman's Marchers bring home the trophy. All right, and then we did something special and unique in the Vocabulary Football League, very similar to, I'm trying to draw this parallel to the NFL. Like the NFL has the Walter Payton Man of the Year, we awarded the Red Raider of the Year. And you all know who it is because he already has his initial award. Ray, for you, I also have a certificate. Come on up. The U.S. History Vocabulary Football League Red Raider of the Year, selected by his peers for service, scholarship, and classroom leadership. You all voted for him. Give it up. All right, and he has a luggage tag, and my Super Bowl champions have a luggage tag. So I hope that's something that you will keep on your bag, maybe even until you graduate. That'd be pretty cool. Next up on our Honors Day here, we did something. Again, you guys pioneered something where every benchmark exam had a bonus point opportunity. Opportunity is a key word. That means it was available to every student. Not every student cashed in on it, and not every student took me up on it. What the bonus points were for each benchmark exam was watching an associated episode of this TV series, America, the Story of Us. And kind of as it worked out, 2 episodes aligned with 1 benchmark exam. And of course, you guys know that when you watch the episodes, there were questions to answer. They were additional to the benchmark exam. Here is what I found. Create bonus point opportunities, hoping that some students will get some free bonus points. What I find is that those who tended to not need the bonus points took me up on the bonus points opportunity. But I want to recognize specifically 4 of you who watched every episode of America, the Story of Us. That's a total of 12. And you have watched the entire series. So I will start with Miss Madison Knowlton. Madison, come on up. And I loved every one of your responses. And you all got 5 bonus points afterwards because of it. And the real winner are those who, the real winners are those who gained, knowledge because of watching this. Next up, Jordan Garner. Jordan took me up on a bonus points challenge. Come on over here. Yep. You're going to hear his name again, Mr. Ray Tucker. Ray, come on up. And Ray, how about you swap with Jackson on the camera there, or Delaney's got it. Jackson Johnson. Jackson's responses were harder to read, but in terms of his handwriting, but I know that he was growing in his writing as well. There we go. No, Jackson, pass that back to you. All right. Now this is, I put some thought, some heart, and some soul into this, and I hope you recognize that over the next couple of minutes. What I've created here is the Certificate of Recognition for Heroes of U.S. History. I've said it before and I'll say it again. By waking up today, you are a part of U.S. history. By waking up and participating in life today, you are U.S. history. So what I've done is I've gone through and I've done some thinking as to what U.S. history character maybe represents each person. And I want to say up front, please don't overthink it, okay? Especially in terms of gender or ethnicity and that. We're only highlighting the good parts of these characters, and it's a compliment to you. So I'm going to go alphabetical order by last name. Trinity, if you'll come on up. Trinity, for you, again, I put a lot of thought into each of these, and this is really where I wanted Miss Williams to witness who you are, okay? So Trinity, hereby recognized as sharing in the traits and qualities of, now this is not a character we spoke of directly, but she is more of a representation of U.S. history. Traits and qualities of Betsy Ross, a creator, an original, and a patriot. Trinity is very artistic. Trinity, you are a creator, you are original, and you are a patriot, and you are a hero of U.S. history. Next up is Miss Gracie Hurst. Gracie, come on up. You're going to look me in the eyes, you're going to hear a compliment about yourself, and you're going to be better for it. Gracie, you are hereby recognized as sharing in the traits and qualities of First Lady of the World, Eleanor Roosevelt. She's an advocate, she has a backbone, and she is a trendsetter. She is a hero of U.S. history, and so are you. Next up, Madison, come on up. Madison, I get a little alliteration going on here, or at least the name association. You are hereby recognized in sharing in the traits and qualities of Dolly Madison, who is resourceful. She was calm, and we use the phrase that she was a boss. Right? She's a boss lady. She was a woman who led men in a time of need. And Madison, you are resourceful, calm, strong, and a leader. You are Dolly Madison. Next up, Landon, by his formal name, Matthew L. Cruz. Landon, you are hereby recognized as sharing in the traits and qualities of General and President Dwight D Eisenhower, who is methodical, insightful, and a genius, both as a military man and as a leader of our country, a hero of U.S. history. Next up, Fatima. Ooh, I had fun thinking about who Fatima is in U.S. history.
I got a guess.
There was only one correct answer. Listen, Fatima is hereby recognized as sharing in the traits and qualities of a hero of U.S. history who is outspoken, a reformer, a leader, si se puede, Dolores Huerta herself. A hero of U.S. history. Privileged to have you in class. Next up, Miss Jordan Garner. Of course, my clicker's going that way. Always does. Jordan, come on up. Jordan, you are hereby recognized as sharing in the traits and qualities of Rosie the Riveter. She is bold, strong, and capable. Jordan, you are a hero of U.S. history. Next up, Mr. Gordon. Eric, come on up. Eric, I need you to know this. I'm not sure I taught you anything at all. This man taught me way more than I did him. Eric is already a student of U.S. history, and it's my privilege to have you twice in class. Eric, you are hereby recognized as sharing in the traits and qualities of none other than Martin Luther King Jr., a reformer, an influencer, and a communicator, a hero of U.S. history. Next up, Delaney. Delaney, come on up. Delaney, also privileged to have had you for 2 years in class. Delaney, you are hereby recognized as sharing in the traits and qualities of Sacagawea, a guide, a helper, and a friend. That is you. Can we get a good one? Can we get a good one? Well, no. That was genuine. All right. Next, Jackson. Swap cameras with someone. Jackson, you are saying your name again today. Come on up. In saying your name again today, you know you're a foundation of this class. You are hereby recognized as sharing in the traits and qualities of Jackson. You are Sherman's Marcher. You are William Tecumseh Sherman, tough, firm, and bold, a hero of U.S. history. Driving to the end here, Jackie. Jackie's not here. Another perfect alliteration. Jackie is Jacqueline Kennedy, elegant, fashionable, and caring. Yeah. Coleman. Coleman, a wonderful addition to our class. I'm glad you came back to Bacon. It's tough to hear good stuff about yourself, isn't it? Coleman, you are hereby recognized as sharing in the traits and qualities of none other than the father of our country, George Washington, who was precedent-setting and a lifelong servant to the nation. Coleman. All right, next, Joey, or by his formal name, Joseph W. Smith Jr. Joey. Now, we just rewatched our Pearl Harbor video, right? So you saw Joey from a year ago to now, and it's the flowing locks for me. Joey, you are hereby recognized as sharing in the traits and qualities of John F. Kennedy, who is charming, a communicator, and a visionary. I don't think you were taller than me last year. Rice, William B. Taylor. Rice, one of my genuine heroes and favorites as well. So this is not lightly bestowed. You are hereby recognized as sharing the traits and qualities of Ulysses S. Grant, who is loyal to his Union, a genius, and a defender of both cities and of African Americans. Loyal, genius, and a defender. A hero. Next, Ray, come on up. James R. Tucker. Tucker, you ever go by Trey? Did the Trace thing? No, he's just right.
He's a third?
James, Ray, you are hereby recognized in sharing in the traits and qualities of a West Pointer. Take that, Navy, in your NASA uniforms. Neil Armstrong, the first man on the moon, a pioneer. He is brave. He is a winner. And he's not a West Pointer, but not a Navy guy either. From Purdue. Right. Neil Armstrong. All right. Next, Maria. Almost done. Maria Zacharias Fonseca. Maria, you are now. I know what I did when I put you three together on the same team, and it worked. It worked. You three spurred each other on to greatness. Maria, you are hereby recognized as sharing in the traits and qualities of Harriet Tubman, a trailblazer, courageous, and a change agent. A hero of U.S. history. All right. Now, and if you're going through the alphabet here, You know that our class is done, but our awards are not. Miss Williams, if you will arise. Miss Williams, now I want to brag to you in front of her and about her. Miss Williams is the leader that this school needed, and she arrived right on time. Listen, I'm a classroom teacher, so I submit to leadership. And then I'm a practicer of leadership in the room, of course, but in my second job in the Army. I'm going to tell you, I just want to recognize the leadership qualities of Miss Williams. She is the leader this school needed, and she is doing great things for us. You may only hear her voice on the announcements. You may only think she does the dress code. Okay, listen, we've been doing a book study together and talking about the role of the principal, but Ms. Williams has been a wonderful leader for the school. I just want to testify to that personally. Ms. Williams, you are hereby recognized as sharing in the traits and qualities of, who's in your mind right now? Don't say. Barbara Bush for your pearls of wisdom. There we go. All right, clap for everybody one more time. And thank you, Ms. Williams, for joining us. Would you like to close out your university call?
I'm just so excited. Swanson's right. When I came in last year, we had some learning curves to make in regard to our approach in education. And I thrive on getting to have a classroom. I miss it terribly. I don't like being the person that is the Nazi on dress code and dealing with discipline and all that stuff. What I really miss is getting to connect with students. And so I'm kind of jealous of folks like Mr. Swanson that have the opportunity to connect with you, get to know you, and get to see your successes. It's really fun when you can see those light bulb moments going off for you all. And there's things that I have no doubt you've done in this classroom that you're going to remember when you're old and gray and be telling your grandkids, I remember when I was in U.S. history and we learned about, and those are the big deals. It's really not about the test. I'm a very firm believer, and I don't care if it's in this class or any other class in the school, if we teach well and we engage well, then the test takes care of itself. And so I'm super excited to see what you all showed yesterday. I always got excited about the OC test day with my students because we had a classroom very similar to what Mr. Swanson works to build with you all. I didn't do the costumes and stuff like Mr. Swanson, but we did a lot of fun things. But I know that he pours into you to let you know how valued you are, how important you are. And I agree with that 100%. That's the piece that I miss because I don't get to have the relationships with the students as much as I did. But because you come in and you're ready to give it your best, it generally tends to work out in the long run anyway. I want you to know that every time you have an opportunity to learn, that what you have in your brain is one of the few things that can't be taken from you. You can lose your financial blessings. You can be riding high on financial wealth and then a few wrong turns and not be riding high on financial wealth. Our health is something that we should not take for granted. It can come and go. You think you're healthy and then you get in an accident or you have some sickness or whatever. One of the things that short of death, one of the things that can't be taken from you is what you learn. And we don't put our brains to work as much as we should. We talk about all these fancy phones and all these fancy computers and stuff, but none of these pieces of technology can ever be as powerful as the brain that is sitting in your head. It's just a question of how much do we put into use. And so really reach for the stars. Reach for it. Go out there for it. Whatever your dreams are, go for it. Find what it is that you're good at. Most of you are 10th graders, right? Is that right? So in looking at that, look for the things that you're good at and you're interested in. Like what is in your wheelhouse? I love that he's done these awards. It's interesting to me because I don't know all of you as well as he knows you. And so I'm like, oh, wonder who he's going to pick that. Oh, let me see what those characteristics are. That is wonderful. And I'm excited that she shows Barbara Bush. She's one of my faves. She's just a realist. She tells it like it is. And is not afraid to laugh at herself. And I 100% appreciate that because I know I don't get it right all the time, but it's not for lack of having the heart for trying. So how'd you feel from yesterday? Terrible.
She's making that up.
Yeah. Oh, listen, the goal I think for us as teachers is that we when you go into the OC, that there's nothing on there that they ask you that we hadn't at least addressed in some way. Then the question just becomes, can you apply what you know to what was there and go for it? And hey, that's just good life skills. Because I wish that everything in life came with an instruction manual. It does not. I was eager to be able to become that adult where I didn't have a curfew and I didn't have to answer to my parents and I didn't, well, in that trade-off, once I got my independence, there was also nobody there to make me wash dishes or clean my room or, wash the car or whatever the case was. And it's like, I had to suddenly become that adult and go, okay, like, I probably need to do some laundry if I want some clothes to be able to wear. I probably need to do, and then I had to start dealing with finances and money and budgeting and all those kinds of things. And then becoming a wife, becoming a mother, having kids, that doesn't come with an instruction manual either. We make mistakes, show your parents some grace. We don't know what we're doing a lot of the times. We're filling it out as we go. So what you're learning in school about taking what you know and applying it to what's in front of you to try to figure it out, that's just a good life skill. That is 100% a good life skill because that's what you're going to be doing the rest of your life. You're going to have challenges sometimes that you see coming from a distance if you got some time to get ready for it, and other challenges that are just going to drop right in front of you and you did not see it coming at all, and you've got to react to it and figure it out. And so I hope that what we're doing in Raider Nation, no matter what class you're in, is we're providing you with opportunities like that where you've got to really think and push beyond what's right in front of you to be able to react to whatever you have to face, whatever challenges are there. So if there's something I can do for you as your principal, let me know. I have students that email me fairly often. It's becoming more frequently. Hey, can I talk to you about this? Or hey, I have a question about this. And I'm glad that they feel comfortable reaching out and asking that. It doesn't mean you're always going to get a yes on whatever it is you're asking for, but I don't mind sitting down and helping you understand why you're not getting a yes, the why behind my reasoning. Because oftentimes we tend to see things from our own perspective. And my job as principal is to see it from the big perspective of this whole building and make decisions on what's best for the building, not just what's best for a single individual or those kinds of things. So excited, I can't wait. And you're right, I will start checking that fairly frequently. Did they give us a date this time?
I have not heard that.
I haven't heard
You let me know.
I will check and see what Dr. Cook says they're predicting. I'm hoping it's a little faster than it was last time. Last time, it did not jump in until the week after Christmas.
I want to grab the very last thing she said
Yes.
about students emailing and whatnot. If you ever need a letter of recommendation for a college, job, scholarship, you got one here and you got two there. So that is genuinely one of my favorite things to do for old students. When they remember their old U.S. history teacher for I've helped with jobs, applications, I've helped with college, and I've helped with scholarship. It is my privilege to write letters of recommendation attesting to your character. So 1 and 2.
There you go.
Easily got 2 letters anytime you need them.
Yes, and let me say one final thing, since this is an honors group in your 10th grade. You may think I'm a long way from graduation. You are and you're not. You're at the sweet spot right now. You made it through that 9th grade hurdle, and now you've adjusted and you're in 10th grade, and if you're going to blink, and it'll be senior year. So there's some things you need to start looking at right now. Like, start thinking about what colleges you think you might want to go to if college is on your periphery. If it's in your long-range goals. Start thinking about it now and go ahead and start putting some feet on those things. You've got to start setting goals. One of the first things I would encourage you to do is just start surfing some of the colleges' web pages. Go onto their site and look at freshman admissions. Now, one of the things that's tricky for students is there's undergraduate and grad. This is an FYI for you to store. Lots of high school folks, particularly seniors, look and go, I need to look at grad because I'm going to be a graduate. You are going to be graduating high school, but starting in college, you're considered an undergrad. So you go to undergraduate admissions and you start looking at what they require. Like I saw Jackson this morning and he was saying thank you. He had come to some of the SAT prep classes that I've done on Wednesday afternoons, and he said it benefited him on his PSAT scores. He was pleased with the scores that he got being a 10th grader. And he's going to get better at that because he's going to have a couple more years to mature into going into it. But in that respect, you need to be looking at SAT scores, because here's what a lot of honor students have done in the past with me. Because they're honor students, they think, well, I'm smart, I don't need to prepare for that test. That's not true. I'll have honor students that are bright kids, but just don't know what that test is made of, don't know what a beast it is, and walk into it, and they'll make a 8 something or a 9 something, and the school they want to go into requires, 1,100, 1,200. And now they've got a big needle move they need to try to make. Now, there's a lot of schools that you can get into with 1,000. You can get into some schools with less than 1,000. And there's nothing wrong with those. What I'm saying is you need to start looking at where you think you might want to go and go ahead and aim for whichever one of those is the most difficult to get into. Aim for that. And then if you choose that's not where I'm going, and you're going to somewhere that's easier to get in, so be it. That's great, but at least you're ready. I just don't want you to get your senior year. Like I've got some seniors right now. It's December. They still have not taken an SAT or an ACT. They have no clue what college they think they're going. They don't know what's required. And yet, if you ask them, they'll tell you, oh, I'm going to so-and-so. Oh, you are? Okay. Have you checked what you need to get in there? Have you taken the SAT or ACT to get in there? So y'all are at the sweet spot. 10th grade is a great place to start looking at that. And then that way you're lining things up as you're working towards your senior year, and you won't get caught in the tight that some seniors tend to put themselves into. So thank you for inviting me. I am thrilled. This is
Thanks for joining us.
Yes, reach out if you need me.
On that high note, let's go back.
Go Army.
All right, here's what we're gonna do next. Maybe some of you remember this from last year. We're gonna make a Go Army Beat video for the football game coming up. I'm gonna ask you to want to participate, but by gosh, if you don't want to, pull your fingernails, right? But before we really get to the video, and I've kind of outlined a tiny little script. I have an idea based on my old West Point heart and digging at Navy for their nasty uniforms and all that junk. So, but before we do that, I want to explain to you why it matters this year in particular. And maybe you remember from last year that both football teams have kind of gotten into this battle of uniforms. And when I was at school, it was just like the traditional Navy uniform, the traditional Army uniform. Both of them had gold helmets. That was kind of iconic, right? The gold helmets clashing together. That's gone. Those days are gone because it's turned into basically Under Armour versus Nike. Under Armour for Navy and Nike for Army. Creating a brand new uniform every year for just this game. And it's, each new year is trying to showcase something about the service. And it is cool because it's a chance for both services to show off their history, turns into a big recruiting moment, right? Show the nation what they're made of. It's not the best football on the planet today, triple option or wildcat or 3 in a cloud of dust. There's not a whole lot of air raid going on in the Army-Navy game, but it is a fun football game to watch for the pomp and circumstance. There's always cool like side commercials and interviews, and then of course the uniforms on the field as well. So I already showed you that Navy has come out with the uniform based on NASA, and the joke has become that NASA is a civilian agency. NASA is not a part of the Navy. Where the heck does Navy come off like picking NASA for the uniform? Well, here's what the Naval Academy will say. There's been 54 astronauts come from the Navy. The first ever untethered spacewalk was a Naval Academy graduate. That's that iconic picture of the astronaut floating in space, right? He's got a little toggle here to actually move himself. Okay, cool, got it. There's been a couple of Navy astronauts. There's been 21 West Point astronauts, Army astronauts who joined NASA. So that is a fewer number. But come on now, Apollo 11, 2 out of the 3 astronauts were West Point graduates. Buzz Aldrin, second man on the moon. Michael Collins, the pilot of the Eagle lunar module. Now, he didn't walk on the moon, but I've already given you kind of the leadership take there. Sometimes you got to sacrifice for the team. So Neil Armstrong, first man on the moon, Purdue University. Buzz Aldrin, second man on the moon, West Point. Michael Collins, pilot, West Point. Where the heck does Navy come off picking NASA as their uniform, right? Well, the Army, of course, it's also kind of a secrecy thing, right? Neither academy wants their uniform to get out. What Army has been doing for the past 7 years now is going through major units, especially the history and heritage of that unit. So there's been the 82nd Airborne Division, and the uniforms kind of look like World War II paratrooper. There's been a 1st Cavalry Division, 25th Infantry Division, 1st Infantry Division, and its lineage of World War I. Still waiting for 3rd ID, okay? Still waiting for Georgia's own 3rd Infantry Division uniforms to come out. It's coming, right? The Army's got several more years of uniforms left to go. Well, this year, the honored unit and the history of it is the 1st Armored Division. 1st Armored Division today is at Fort Bliss, Texas. But as a heritage, okay, and especially as a reason for why was this year, 1st Armored Division was really kind of America's first push into the European theater of World War II. We didn't talk about that much, right? Our class picks up at D-Day, and you guys know how much we've got to get to. So, there's only so much you can talk about. But if you're to take it back a half step, America's entry into the war in Europe really starts in North Africa, fighting the Nazis on kind of in the open deserts of North Africa. And the 1st Armored Division was a part of that. And that was called Operation Torch. Again, we're past the EOC. This is not EOC content, but Operation Torch started in November of 1942. Do some math here. We're at the 80th anniversary of Operation Torch. So it really makes sense that the Army chose 1st Infantry Division, the 1st Armored Division to be their namesake for this particular year. You see the label there, Old Ironsides, because tanks have iron sides. So that's the nickname of the division, Old Ironsides. And I really like the logo, and I'll explain it to you briefly. Red, blue, and yellow, they're not just primary colors. The yellow represents tanks and cavalry. Okay, that's kind of the color of armor in the Army. So yellow is tanks, blue is infantry, red is field artillery. And really what it's saying is we're kind of one team that has to come together in order to be a fighting force. Tanks, infantry, field artillery. So again, we talked a lot about the military in class here. Maybe that all makes sense to you. I'm not going to go into each of those, but the uniform is quite, everything on it has a reason. It's supposed to look like the tank, down to that yellow stripe and the star on the right-hand shoulder. That's related to what the tanks actually look like in North Africa. The coloration, of course, the green tanks. This is elite, guys. Like, this is really, you want to talk details, you want to talk about someone designing a detailed uniform. The green on top is the color of the tank as painted. But the pants into the jersey, it almost looks like mud spatter going up the side of the tank. Huh?
You're geeking out over it.
I am super geeking out over this uniform, down to the font on the colors. So anyhow, it is going to be something. The game is on Saturday. Okay, the game is Saturday, 3 p.m. It's the only college football game on TV on that day. So they do that on purpose as well. And what we are going to, or what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to show you a 2-minute video produced by West Point about the uniform. So if you thought I was geeking out, just wait for this video. And then I'll describe to you the video that I hope we can make together as well. The uniform.
Today we continue our story. It begins with a conference in Washington, where secret plans are made for a large-scale invasion of North Africa.
In December 1941, just 2 weeks after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, President Franklin Roosevelt and Prime Minister Winston Churchill met in Washington, D.C. to coordinate the entry of America's armed forces into the Second World War. The Arcadia Conference established the strategic framework for the next year of the war, to include the decision to initiate planning for Operation Torch in North Africa.
Under these same conditions, this team again displays the great fighting spirit and capabilities for which Old Ironsides has long been famous.
On November 8, 1942, the Allies commenced Operation Torch with the largest amphibious assault in history up to that point in time, with landings near the cities of Casablanca, Oran, and Algiers, and forced the capitulation of French Vichy forces within days. After gaining these critical footholds, Allied forces quickly initiated operations into Tunisia. Soldiers of the 1st Armored Division would enter the crucible of combat over the next 6 months in numerous battles against Axis forces. The Iron Soldiers of the Old Ironsides Division would employ crucial lessons learned to repulse the Axis operations at El Qatar, enabling Allied forces to drive Axis forces for North Africa.
We have victory. A bright gleam has caught the helmets of our soldiers, and warmed and cheered all our hearts. This is not the end. It is not even the beginning of the end. But it is perhaps the end of the beginning.
While those words rang true for the Allied powers, for their enemies, it was the beginning of the end. This year marks the 80th anniversary of Operation Torch, and the commencement of operations against Axis forces in the European field. The lessons that the 1st Armored Division and the United States Army learned in North Africa would propel them for subsequent operations in Italy and Western Europe. On December 10th, we honored the Iron Soldiers of the 1st Armored Division and their storied legacy that have long made Old Ironsides famous. Go Army, beat Navy.
Eric, did I get your blood pumping?
No.
Dang, guys. Killer. All right, so here's what I hope you'll do with me. We can set up right here, okay? And I got I'll set my camera up here, kind of a thing. It's just a real simple setup into Go Army Beat Navy. And what I have several West Point shirts and whatnot over there. Maybe you remember last year I even had my old, the old Army tops right there. So you're willing to participate, I hope that you are. If you want to get a shirt or a hat or anything that I have over there, you go ahead and do that. I actually have a little one-liner, kind of a script I'm going to set up to make sure I say it right. And again, just kind of you know me, and we can do this together if you wish to. So yeah, shirts, you can go through them right there. I got these various hats, even a couple of buttons, some pom-poms, several things. Several things. I'm kind of set up the podium here. I think that'll be helpful. Yeah, the Army.
No sé qué quieras. They sound like they do like. Then I don't know what the number.
This is for me? Of course, Red does with the road. No, Ray get No, we're not a boat.
¿Quieres una María?
No, voy a aparecer esto ya, güey.
Brett and her are only two.
No, right here, there's one open. Which one that's easy? Oh, go on with I want to stab the one. I got you. You want to stab?
Mira.
Yeah. Yes, like what do we credit military service as? In that era, so right? So going into here, rapid also where when we're talking about a lot of the ranks rapidly get more time and coming back. Got some Ranger shirts. Got some West Point Pacific shirts. If some of y'all put on those yellow shirts, that'd be a really good labeling of West Point. Hard to go wrong there.
So you grabbed the Army. This is Marine. I'm pretty sure you grabbed the Army. All right, maybe you get.
Not here for a long time, just here for a good time.
I'm gonna wear this. No, I'm not wearing that now. I'm gonna put on the tab. Good. That's yes. I go on.
I think that's pretty good.
Sure, you're not
I'll be
All right, if y'all will start kind of gathering in the middle so I can space it out.
Braskets can go.
Joey.
No, it's not scary. It's like.
I'll take that one.
Take this one. Maria, oh, you got one?
I've never seen you guys have one. Don't you guys like don't you guys like dudes?
Anybody want this jersey? Last year's jersey. Hey, Rick. Hey, Rick. All right. So Jackson actually asked me if we're going to make a video, and I appreciate that he remembered that from last year. So I've got one extra line that Jackson's going to deliver. Y'all gather up, and I want to take you through the concept here. What I need from y'all is kind of like, yeah, nodding, and then basically you'll say beat Navy at the end.
Beat Navy. Oh, no.
No, I'm not really.
I don't want to be here.
I don't want to be here.
Okay, I'm going to be right here. I'll go right here. Go right here.
Ray, I want to see you in a little more. Ray said that you need to get in the front.
Hey, you want to be
Like in front of Ray.
Yeah.
I want to be in the front. Right. Jordan's singing a little more. Like, Ray's like at the end of it, so you guys. We can't see
Well,
anymore.
hang on.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I can move that back.
Hey, I can be like down here.
Right.
I don't want to be here.
Yes, this is good, y'all. This is good. We're working together. I am far from James Cameron. I just have an idea. Ukraine flag for me. All right, Fatima, step back.
Jordan's good.
Jackie's pretty much the last one. Delaney, you're gonna have to slide a little bit more.
Jackie, Maria. That's
right, I'm sorry. Someone's gonna say something bad to me about that.
Yeah, Jordan.
Eric, slide that way so I can kind of hit dead center.
And then Maria, you have time, right? Nor can Fatima.
I can't see Jordan. I definitely can't see Jordan.
All right, come on, Jordan, get in.
Jordan, yeah, act like you like each other. All right,
Hey,
I'll let
Maria,
you cover me. Delaney, where are you going?
Get in front of me. I'll go in front of
Can you still see Eric if I'm kind of centered in front of him? Like forward center?
Yeah.
Okay.
You ready?
No, I'm not. So here's how it's gonna go down. Situation. I'm gonna say, hey there, Army fans, blah this, blah that. I'm gonna say we've just finished our journey through U.S. history, and well, we've got some questions about the NASA themed uniforms that Navy's gonna wear at the Army-Navy game on Saturday. You're like, yeah, why NASA? Yeah. I mean, what in the Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins were they thinking? West Point graduates. Yeah, that's right. Maybe Army, and then this is where I'm gonna like pick a Navy a little bit. Maybe next year Army should take the field with Panama Canal, the Panama Canal on their helmets and jerseys, right? Yeah. Or the Olympic rings. Yeah. There's been more Army Olympians than Navy Olympians. Or the NFL draft. There's been more drafted Army than Navy. Or you know what? The seal of the President of the United States. With all respect to Georgia's own Jimmy Carter. Jackson, go ahead.
Mr. Swanson, we're not really sure what claim the Navy thinks they have to a civilian department like NASA, but we know when the 80th anniversary of Operation Torch, we're going to do about it.
All right, so I say what in the, which of course is like a little bit like a what the heck. What in the Buzz Aldrin, Jackson? I want you to say what the 80th anniversary. Yeah, it's almost like it's not a cuss word, but it's almost like, you know what I mean, like an expletive. Also the wrong word. Then I'll say, that's right, Old Ironside's coming at you. I'm going to say, go Army, and that's your cue for loud and thunderous beat Navy, okay? So what y'all just got to nod along until I say, that's right, Old Ironside's coming at you. Go Army!
Beat Navy!
That's right, Old Ironside's coming at you. Go Army! Beat Navy! There it is. Where did I put that? Who's on the Delaney? This will be perfect. When we start, I want you to be looking at this book. They kind of put it on your side, all right? It's like 1 or 2 pages. You get it? It's about the moon. But you got to show the cover. I want you to like look at 1 or 2 pages.
This is very elaborate.
This is very elaborate. I'm a little extra today, Eric. Feeling a little extra. Feeling a little extra. Okay.
Yes.
Where you just going to?
Where is it going to? My Facebook page.
Oh.
All right. Yes, I do. Okay. All right. Just hold what you got. If we got to redo a take or something like that, as long as the camera doesn't move, I can cut splice stuff like that. Okay. Okay. You see Eric? Hey there, Army fans. My name is David Swanson, West Point class of 2010, also the operations officer of the 3rd Battalion, 121st Infantry Regiment of the Georgia Army National Guard. And I am here with my 10th grade U.S. history class at Bacon County High School in Alma, Georgia. And we have just finished our journey through all of U.S. history. And, you know, we have a few questions about what in the world Navy thinks that they come off with having some NASA-themed uniforms for this weekend's Army-Navy football game. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
I mean, what in the Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins were they thinking?
Yeah.
Maybe next year, Army should come out with the Panama Canal on their jerseys and helmets, or the Olympic rings, or the NFL draft, or maybe, you know what, the seal of the President of the United States himself. With all respect to Georgia's own Jimmy Carter.
Mr. Swanson, we're not really sure what Navy thinks they have to claim to a civilian department like NASA. But we know with the 80th anniversary of Operation Torch, we're going to do about it.
That's right. Old Ironside's coming at you. Go Army! Be Navy! That was everything I needed it to be. All right, now I got one more side, and this is gonna be like this is gonna be a jump cut. Who thinks they're a comedian?
Me.
Delaney, that's what I was hoping for. That's what I was hoping for. So clear, leave the camera where it's at. Delaney, for context, you need to see this video. This is from the Great American Classic, Dumb and Dumber. And this is what you're about to do, okay? Look, look, look.
These jerseys really
No way.
Pretty sure there's no name in the class.
Yeah. So Delaney, you're gonna say, check this out. I'm gonna put this up.
No way. They landed on the moon.
That's right. There's no way. That's great. We landed on the moon. So Delaney, first of all, you gotta take that shirt off. And if y'all just gently lay things down, you can kind of hang that up on the whatever that is. Delaney, I'm gonna tape this to your shirt. Let me see, get some. You are the Navy. Hold that real quick. Jordan, will you help me out?
Why are you putting me on the Navy?
Because you volunteered to be a comedian.
I thought the Army.
It actually does smell good.
Higher.
What's your sponsor?
There you go. Okay, so. No way. That's great. We landed on the moon. That's what you're gonna do. Okay.
You gotta give me a.
I will. And you got to make sure I can like see your front a little bit. So you know, as you look over your shoulder, yeah, start right there. Start right there. Walk into the frame, and then actually I'm gonna slide in and be like, okay. So you're gonna walk this way. I'm gonna walk that way. Eric, elaborate enough?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
No way. That's great. We're landing on the moon.
Beat 'em. Thank you for humoring me. All right, the hour belongs to you. I got some games, I got some puzzles, anything you want to do. Thank you for your efforts this whole semester. Yeah, you may, oh, you know?
Okay, I have a question for everybody real quick. What do y'all want to do tomorrow? A pizza party or what?
What do you want?
That's what I'm asking y'all.